You may have heard that AMD Ryzen CPUs are sensitive to memory speeds, but how much of a performance difference can we actually expect in games with higher memory speeds? To test this, I've benchmarked a few games at 5 different memory speeds to show you just how much this affects gaming, and help you decide if it's worth buying faster memory. The test machine I'm using has the AMD Ryzen 7 2700 CPU, along with an Nvidia 1080 graphics card. No overclocking was done with either of these components. Most importantly, I was testing with 16GB of G.Skill SniperX memory running in dual channel, and all games have been tested at 5 different speeds. So let's get into the benchmarks and see how the memory speeds affect game performance. Starting out with Far Cry 5, I've tested it using the built-in benchmark. And we can see straight away that every time the memory speed was increased, both the average frame rate and 1% low rises up. In this test, we're seeing an 11% improvement to the average frame rates going from 2400 to 3400 speeds. Assassin's Creed Origins was also tested with the built-in benchmark, and again the frame rates are rising every time the memory speed increases. The difference between the lowest speed test and highest 3400 speed was again 11%. Rise of the Tomb Raider was again tested with the built-in benchmark, and once more the average frame rates follow a slight upwards trend as the memory speed increases. This also results in the same 11% improvement at 3400 compared to 2400. Ghost Recon was also tested with the built-in benchmark, and the differences in this game are a little lower, at least in terms of the averages, where 3400 speed was just 6% faster than 2400. But when it comes to the 1% lows, there was a 15% improvement between them. Watch Dogs 2 saw one of the largest increases out of all games tested, with a 21% improvement to the 1% lows going between 2400 and 3400 speeds, and a 26% improvement to the average frame rates between those same two speeds. Rainbow Six Siege was tested with the built-in benchmark. Less of a difference here, but still an 8% improvement to the average frame rates at DDR4 3400 compared to 2400, and a 10% improvement to the 1% lows. For the final game, Ashes of the Singularity was, yet again, tested with the built-in benchmark. The differences here were also quite large, with a 22% improvement at 3400 speeds when compared against 2400 speeds for the average frame rates, and a 19% improvement to the 1% lows. In the games tested, we can see that the difference between each speed level were only a few frames per second in most cases. But when going from say DDR4 2400 to DDR4 3400, the differences add up to a notable improvement. Although it does of course depend on the game, and likely even the setting level too. In all games tested, I only tested at high settings. Although there is a trend of improved performance with higher memory speeds, it's important to consider the price of high-speed memory, as it does cost more. Unfortunately, improved performance is not free. Memory in general is quite expensive at the moment, and you'll be paying a premium on top of that to get higher speed memory. It depends on the memory, but in some cases you're looking at around $10 to $20 increases to go up 200 MHz for a 16GB kit, assuming everything else is the same, like the size and timings. So is it worth paying the extra money for the performance improvements associated with higher memory speeds? I think it depends on the prices and what you can afford. As shown, there are little differences between each speed level, but when you aggregate this from low end to high end, the difference is larger. So picking somewhere in the middle could be a good option. Just keep in mind that money not spent on top of the line memory may be instead better invested into a better graphics card, for example, which would give you even larger improvements. If you're building a high-end system though, and have already picked out a high-tier CPU and GPU combination, then yeah sure, spending extra for the memory could be worth it for you. It really depends on the system you're building and budget. Let me know which speed memory you're thinking of buying for your next system down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for future tech videos like this one.